This conference will now be recorded.
Yesterday we have discussed about the Angular local setup, like what are all the softwares required, and like what are all the what are all the softwares required, and how to install those softwares, and how to create the basic Angular application by using the Angular CLI. So yesterday we have gone through all these concepts. So today, in this today's section, I'm going to explain you about the what is component, what is component in Angular, how to create component, in Angular. Next, we'll discuss about the, one second. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, next, we'll discuss about the what is module, in Angular. And next we will see how to add Angular application. So in today's class, we are going to cover the these three things, like what is component in Angular and how to create the component in Angular, and what is module, and how to add the Bootstrap framework to our Angular application. So first thing, what is meant by the component? So component is nothing but it is a basic building block in Angular application. Sir, here I have one question, sir. Sir, what is meant by the basic building block? So basic building block is means, so we are going to divide the our Angular application into the multiple components. So whenever if you open the Angular project, and if you see the all the source code, so you can get to know, it will be having the multiple components. Sir, how can I divide the Angular application into the multiple components? I'll just show you the one example. For example, let me go to the QuickBudge application. So here we can see, here we have the different sections. For example, we have the one header, and here we have the scoring section or scoring area, and we have the one sideboard. This we can consider it as a one body, and here we have the one kind of article or some advertisement. So for example, this is the an Angular application, or this is the UX screen you got from the designer. So once if we get this UX screen, so we need to divide, by seeing the different sections, we need to divide the Angular application into the different components. So I'll show you how to divide this one. For example, let me take one slide. For example, let us assume this blank space as a one web page. So I just want to create the multiple components. I'll show you consider this as a one web page. So So now I want the one header component, like in the similar way like what we have, right? So this I can make it as a one header component. Header component. I'll take one more. This is my body component. I'll take one more like footer. This is footer component, and I'll take one more component for sidebar also. So this is sidebar component. So I mean, if you consider this entire block as one Angular application or one web application, so we are going to divide our Angular application with the multiple components. So whether it can be header component and the body component and the footer component and the sidebar component. So in real time, we are not going to write the like all the header section code and the body section code and the footer section code in a single component or single HTML page. So based on our request, we are going to divide the Angular application into the multiple components. So that's why like we'll be calling the, so components are the basic building blocks in our Angular application. So in one real time example, like I have just taken as a quick watch for easy understanding. So if you take this one header, this is the header component and this is the scoring area, and we can consider this as a sidebar, and this is the main body kind of thing. So if you want to add some articles kind of thing, we can create one more component here. So it's all depends on the your application requirements. So this is this is all about the component. So component is nothing but this is a basic building block in Angular application. So we are going to have the, will be having the multiple components in Angular. So we are going to have the multiple components in Angular. So next one, sir, like how to create the component, how to create the component. So yesterday we have seen, right? So if you want to create the Angular project, like we have used the one command called ng new and the project name like ng new sample application, right? In the similar way, if you want to create the component, we need to use the ng component. And like for example, I want to create the employee component, I'll give like employee component. So this is the like basic Angular CLI command to create the component. I just want to create one component, right? So if you want to create the component, I need to use the ng generate component and that component name. So we have the shortcut for this, like we can directly create by using ng generate component and the employee component. This is also one way of creating the components. Is this clear guys until here? So we are going to divide the Angular application into the multiple components. So in the real time, we are going to divide the Angular application into the multiple components like header component, body, footer, and sidebar component. So is this clear?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes, Farooq.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know, like, why we have to divide. I mean, what is the advantage of dividing it in multiple components? Like,
Uh,
oh,
so, okay, good question. The thing was like, whenever if you write the code in all the like into the one template or like one HTML page, it is very difficult to maintain it. And for example, later in the later point of time, so if the I mean end user or the client request to change something in the like header logo or the header content, again like we need to check in that complete HTML file. And for example, I am going to use this header component for like in the multiple pages. For example, here I'll show you. Now like I like this is the consider this as a one header component, right? So once if I click on this page, here also here you can see that sidebar and the sections are gone. So here we have the complete scoring area. So here also we are going to use the header component. So if you want to use this header section in the multiple pages, there is no need to write the code every place. So we can just use that header component selector in the multiple pages, like with a single line we can reuse the same thing. So anyhow like we'll be having the header and footer is a common for our web application. This is the like one advantage. I mean no need to write the code every place, like in the every page. Is the clear, Swarup? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. So next, like I told you, right? Like we are going to create the component by using the ng generate component and employee component. Next, we will see like I mean what is present inside the component. Like I mean in that like now we have defined in a like high level. So now we will see the code. I mean how to what is meant by the component. So component is nothing but like component will consist of template plus class plus metadata. So we are going to have the I mean whenever if you want to call a component, I mean it's a component, so we can consider should have the template and we should have the class and we should have the metadata. So let me draw one more. For example, let us consider this as a one component, the Angular component. So let me add I mean template class and metadata also. So I'll take this as a template. This as a metadata, and this is template. So class and this metadata. So like I will explain like what is template, what is class, and the what is metadata in the like by using the I mean code. So whenever, for example, in the interview, if they ask like what is meant by the component in Angular, so you should explain like component is a basic building block in our Angular application. So you should not end here. So you should explain the like component will consist of the template, class, and metadata. So that like I mean interviews he can able to understand like you have worked on the Angular application. So now we'll see the each and everything in the code. For example, let us consider I mean we have let us consider this is an app component, right? So in the if you check this app component, so we have the one component, like we have the one file called app.component html. So this html means like we can call this is a template or the view. I mean so this is the I mean text, or this is the I mean paragraph like the end user is going to see in the web page. So each and every component will be having the one template. Template is nothing but we can consider it as a one HTML page. We can call this is a template or view. So next thing like I told you, right? So we'll be having the one class. So this part like will be one class. Let me remove this one and I'll explain it. So I told it we'll be having the template and we'll be having the class, right? So let me create one class app component. So here I just created the one class. I mean with the class keyword and the class name was I have given the app component. So now the Angular application will understand this is the basic TypeScript class. This is not a component. So this is the basic TypeScript class. Now I just want to convey this class. I mean I just want to convert this class to the one Angular component. So if I want to convert this Angular class to the one component, I need to add the some metadata. Sir, what is meant by metadata? So metadata is nothing but like it will provides the additional data to the TypeScript class. I'll write here. So it is the, I mean template is nothing but it is the view, or like I mean it is the view or HTML part where end user is going to see the actual content, and next one is the class. So it is a TypeScript class where we are going to define the properties and methods. I mean if you want to write the business logic, so we are going to use the class. So we can define the properties and methods to that particular class. So next one will be having the metadata. So metadata is nothing but it provides the additional information to the TypeScript class. I mean, so what exactly metadata does was like we can call this as a, I mean metadata is nothing but data. It provides some additional information to the TypeScript class. Now I just have the TypeScript class. Now I want to make this class as a one Angular component. So if I want to make this class as an Angular component, I need to add some additional data. I mean I need to decorate this class to the component. For that, what I need was, the first thing I will import component from Angular core. So sir, here what is meant by component? So here component is nothing but it is a decorator. So if you want to add the metadata to the our TypeScript class, we need a one decorator. So we can consider this as a decorators. So decorators are mainly used to uh, configure the metadata. I mean here like I want to make this TypeScript class as a one component. So for that I need one decorator. So that decorator like we are going to use is the component decorator. So next what I will do was @component. Let us consider this as a one function. So @component is a one function with the parameter is going to accept the one object. So basically in the we are going to represent objects in the curly braces. So what is having the object? So object will be having the key and value pairs. For example, if I take the employee, I mean person as an object, so person will be having the properties like for example name Srikanth. mobile. So this is the person, this is the one object which will be having the key value page. So here key is the name, so value is the Srikanth. So in the similar way, so component will be having the key value page. The first one is the selector. So I'll be giving as a app root. You can name it anything here. So I'll be giving as it is a root component, right? That's why I'm giving the its name the app root. So next one, template URL. So I'm going to give the app.component.html, because here the template URL is mainly used to get the view or the template for this particular component. So we have discussed, right? Component is nothing but the template plus class plus metadata, right? So for each and every component, we should have the one HTML file, one CSS file, one spec file, and the one TS file. So HTML file mainly used for the view purpose. CSS is if you want to add some styling to the view, we can use the CSS. Next, spec.ts file is mainly used to write the unit test cases, and the component.ts file is mainly used to write the our business logic. So this is the template.url. So next we have the one more thing like style URLs. So I will the path as app.component.sass. So this is the this section we have, right, at the rate component, the selector, template URL and style URLs. We are going to call this as a metadata. So if you want make the metadata, and so we need to have the one decorator. So here we are calling like component is a one decorator which helps us to create the metadata. So then again, metadata is mainly used to create the create the TypeScript class to be a Angular component. Guys, I'll explain you once again. So what I did was, first I have just created the one class app component, and next what I did was, if this class to be behave as an Angular component, we need to have the some additional data. We need to have the some metadata. So if I want to add the metadata, I need to have the one decorator called component. So because here we are going to create the Angular component, right? That's why I have imported the import component from the Angular core. And this Angular core, we can consider it will be having the collection of the classes or functions, which will be useful for this decorator. So next what I did was at the rate component, like whenever if you are using the decorators, we should use the at the rate symbol before the decorator name. So at the rate decorator, so I have taken it as a one function. Inside the function, it is accepting one object. So inside the object, like I have defined the key value page. Like these are majorly, like we have the other key value properties also. For basic component, we should have the selector, template URL, and the style URLs. So selector is mainly used to, we can consider this as a one custom HTML element. For example, if you take h1 paragraph, all these elements will be understood by the browser, but here this selector will be like, you can consider this as a one HTML element. So one custom HTML element. So we are going to use this selector in the index.html, to render this view, or to this text. So this is the index.html. So we are going to use that selector in the index.html. So then only the whatever the text we have written in the component will be displayed in the web page. Guys, any doubts until here? So clear with the component. If
Sir,
you
I
have
have
any, yeah, tell me.
sir, like you told like business logic. Business logic means actually functionality.
Correct, exactly.
And then, sir, like here you added square braces, like square rectangular boxes to the style URLs, but not to the template URL. Like, what is the
Yeah,
difference, sir?
the difference is the sense. So in the style URLs, if you want to add, we can add the multiple CSS files here. For now, I just I just want to use a single CSS file, SCSS file. That's why like I am using in the only single file. but in the real time there might be chances of using the multiple CSS. So if I want to use some additional external library, I just want to apply the external CSS also. So I can give one more file here. That's why I have given it as a square brackets. We can consider this is an array. So where we can add the multiple CSS files. So template.
So, yeah.
So each and every component will be having the single view or the single HTML file only.
So if we remove that square boxes also, it will work for in this application, sir.
Let me show you. So because like here we are mentioning this syntax as a style URLs, right? So even though if you want to provide CSS file, so we should use that square bracket.
Okay, got it, sir. Sir, I have one more question, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Here, you said like decorator is @ component. So app component is a not a normal TypeScript class. We are saying this is a component. Component class.
Correct.
So, but how it come on understood the app component class? We are not we are not at all specifying our app component name within the @ component, sir. How it consider this?
This will, I mean, after adding this metadata, right? It will consider this app component class as a one component. So it will, I mean, it will understood in the background, like the Angular framework itself was designed in the background. Like, so once if you add some metadata to this TypeScript class, automatically it will convey the browser or the Angular framework will understand this as will treat this as a one component.
Sir, in that case, I will write one more class, and then it will choose the as a component, sir.
Yes, it will choose. I mean, you can import that component in. You can use that component in other pages also.
Okay. So within the one TS file, we have only one class, sir.
Yeah, we can create the multiple classes also.
Okay, sir. Got
it. But the thing was like if I create one more class here, I mean, I need to tell whether that particular class is a directive or the component. Then only it will work, sir. I mean, if you want to just create the class and based on that class, if you want to create the object, so we can do that. But in the Angular sense, if you want to work that particular class as a component or like a directive, so we should give the metadata.
Okay,
so
sir.
Now I mean, here like I have created this class, right? So I need to export this class so that I can import this class in the other places. So I need to export this class so that I can import this class definition. I mean, I can whatever the properties I'm going to write inside this, so I can import this component in other pages. So here, if I go to the app.module.ts, so I am importing here. So import app component from the app component.ts file. So for example, if I remove export here, so we'll get the error. See here, you can see in the app.module.ts like declares app component, but it does not exported. So export, I mean, if you want to use in the other components or other modules, so we are going to use the export keyword. So this is all about the component. So next we'll move to the module.
Sir, I have one small doubt.
Yeah, tell me.
Can you please go to code?
Okay.
Yeah, add that component is considered as a decorator, and whatever the inside this line number 4, 5, 6 is considered as a metadata, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
I mean, this entire complete we can consider, we can call it as a metadata.
Okay.
I mean, line number 3 to 8. So, but these are the different properties available in the component. I mean, component decorator properties these are different options. We still we have the lot of other properties also, but we'll see in the further classes whenever it is required.
Okay, sir.
Guess whenever interview asks about the component, you just explain about the component is a basic building block, and after that just give the example of it will be consisting of the template, class, and the metadata. So definitely, like he will satisfy with your answer, and like he will have some good impression. So I mean, this is all about the component. So next we'll go to the module. So yesterday we have discussed, right? So Angular application will be having the one root module. So it
Container.
will be having the one root. Yeah, it will be having the one root module, and we can call it as a one container or like one kind of box. So I can say like in the Angular terms, like it is a collection of components, directives, services, pipes. So like which are uh, related uh, which are related to the specific functionality. Sir, like here it is a collection of the components, and we have the directives. Like so, we're going to discuss about the directives, services, and pipes in the like further class. So directives are mainly used to manipulate the DOM. Are mainly used to interact with the backend API. So if I want to fetch some data from the backend, we are going to write the code in the services. So pipes are mainly used to transform the data. For example, I have an employee salary. I want to add some rupee symbol or currency symbol to the pipes. So it will format our data. So which are related to the specific functionality. Specific functionality or the specific task. So why I have mentioned this specific functionality, right? Yesterday we have discussed, right? So we are going to uh, divide the our e-commerce application into the multiple modules. For example, I have uh, divide one as a like sign up module, and another one is a order module. So in a similar way, so I just want to group the components which are related to the order module only. So for that reason, like I have mentioned, that it's a specific functionality or the specific task. So I want to group all the components, directives, and the services which are related to the order module only. So how to create the, so this is what the definition. So next one, how to create the module. Create the module in the Angular means like we have the same like similar the command like ng generate module and the module name, for example orders module. So guys, anyhow, going further, like I'll show you like how to create the multiple modules, and how it is going to communicate, or like how we are going to use one module in another module. So when I start doing the all these concepts. So next like we'll see the module structure, like how the module will looks like. So we have the one root module, right? So app.module.ts. So here also similar, like the same way. So we have the export class app module. So now if I want to behave this class as a one module, one Angular module, so we need to add this metadata. So we need to provide all this metadata. So previously in the like for component we are using the component decorator. For module we should use the ng module. So this is also like we are importing from the Angular core. So next we have one more import called browser module. So this browser module is mainly helps to launch the Chrome, helps launch the our application into the Chrome. So for example, once the compilation and build was done, if you see like automatically like it will be running in localhost 4200, and it is going to launch in the browser, right? To that to happen, so we need to use the browser module. So browser module is mainly helps us to launch the our Angular application into the our browser. So next we have the app routing module. So anyhow, like we are not going to use this app routing module now. So like we'll be using this module for the routing. Like if you want to navigate from one page to another page, like we are going to define the routes, and we are going to uh, give the configuration in the app routing module. So next we have the we have imported the one app component. Yesterday, as we discussed, every Angular application will be having the one root component. So we have imported it. So next, like we'll see the different sections in the ng module decorator. See here in the same way, like ng module. So we have one object. So the first one is, this is the property. So for this property, so here we have like each property will be having the array data. So previously I have given it as a string, right? If I go to app.component.ts, so I have given the string here. But in the app modules, I will be having the the data values will be represented in the array module. So the first one is the declarations array. So declarations array mainly use add the components whatever we have defined. For example, I have created one. Default we have the root component set. So these components, directives, pipes, like we are going to define all those things in the declarations. Let me divide it. Declarations array. Like all the components are created by us. We can call components pipes directives. So we are going to import the all the components, pipes, directives inside the declarations array. So next we have the imports array. So imports array mainly used to define, like we mainly use it to import the third party modules or the plugins. So here I am using the browser module, and for routing, like for routing we need to use the routing module should be used in the imports. Like for mainly it is mainly used to import the modules. For example, if I want to use the forms module, so I'm going to import those modules by using the Angular dependencies. So those kind of things, like we are going to use the imports. So next, like we have the providers array. So providers array is mainly used to import the services. So whenever if you create the any services in our Angular application, so we are going to define all those things in the providers array. So next, like we have the bootstrap array. So bootstrap array yesterday we have discussed it. So it is the mainly used to start our Angular application, like or like it is mainly used to trigger our Angular application. So it will by default it will go to this component and it will load the page. So this is all about the Angular module metadata. So after declaring all those things only, then it will act as a one Angular module. So I'll repeat once again. So declarations are mainly used to import the components which are created by us. Like whenever if you are writing the code, so we'll be creating the lot of components and the lot of pipes and the directives. So we are going to import all those things in the declarations array. So imports array. So like if you want to import some third-party modules which are in the Angular framework, so we are going to use the imports array. So providers array, we are going to use the services which are like required for us. So bootstrap arrays, like we'll be having the one root component. So root component we need to provide it. So I'll do one thing. Let me create one more component. Currently I have the app component, right? Let me create one more component. So this sample applications yesterday we have created. So I'll go to this inside this one. Just I will open the command line from here, cmd. Let me create one more component, like ng. I'm going to use the shortcut ng generate component. I'll give the component name as an employee. Yeah, it will take like 1 to 2 minutes to create this one. So ng generate, and the component is the component, and component name is the employee. So once if I create this employee component, no, automatically it will comes here. It will comes to the root module, and it will be imported in this declarations. Yeah, see. So I have created the one component, right? So so each component will be having the HTML, spec.ts, ts file, and SCSS. Now I'll show you. See, like, see, I mean, we can see like inside the app folder, we have created one more component, employee component. So it is having the 4 different. Basically, like it should automatically it should add here. I don't know what. Let me.
Sir, maybe you can close that file and open again.
Yeah,
That
update.
app model.
Yeah. So sorry.
You can close that current app model.ts file and open again.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, see here. So once if you create the component, so automatically it will imports that component to the declarations array. So we can use this component in, for example, I'll show you how to use this component in the main. I have that text here, right? Welcome to Hyderabad. I want to use that component in the app component, in the root component. So for that, what I do was like, I'll just take this selector. Here we text as employee works, right? I'll go to the
You
TS.
take the selector. Yes.
I'll just take this selector and I will paste in the main root component. So we can able to get, I mean, whatever the content we are having in the app employee, we can able to see that content also. Let me start my project. I'll show you, like, I mean, I'll create one more service so that people will get ng generate service employee. And meanwhile, I'll open one more CMD. I'll start running the application by using ng serve. So service was created. So for service, like, we'll be having the service.ts and the service.spec.ts for writing the unit test cases. I mean, app module was not updated. But the thing was, like, if you want to add that service, like, we are going to specify the providers array. I think I mean, everyone is clear about the module. Any questions on module, Angular module?
Sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Tell me, Karthik.
Sir, like, so you have mentioned dot site, sir, like dot slash, and there is a difference, dot and a double dot. What is the difference, sir?
Yeah, here if it is in the same folder, so we should use the, I mean, single dot slash. For example, if I want to access, I mean, in the app module, if I want to, I mean, like, basically in the Angular applications, like, we'll be having the lot of folders. So if you want to access its parent folder, so we are going to use with the dot. So if it is in, like, one side about to our file, so if it is two sides, like, we'll be using the multiple dots. So I mean, we can consider this as a relative path. Anyhow, like, I am going to explain you this in the further classes. So
Okay,
I mean, whenever if we have the lot of folders, a lot of files, so we need to give the path based on the our present location and the whatever the component we are going to import it. So based on its I mean, folder structure, we need to give this. I mean, use the double dots.
and one more thing, like within the Bootstrap, we have app component. We can name another component also, sir. Like bootstrapping another component, and multiple components are like only one component.
It will be better to use the single component. So because like each application it should have the one root component only. So like most of the times we'll be using the single component only.
Okay, sir. And one more question, sir.
I
Like,
mean, it is good practice. We can do the multiple also, but it is having some effects.
okay, sir. And sir, we create pipes and we have to declare those pipes in within the declaration array, or like there is any other array to declare the pipes, sir?
Yeah, it is in declarations array.
Okay, sir. And then you said like plugin. What is that plugin, sir? Like plugin means?
Plugin is nothing but, for example, if I want to use the forms, right? Forms module. I mean, I want to use the forms concepts in the Angular, so I'll be importing the like import forms module. So,
Okay, sir.
for example, this is the one module I want to use the forms in Angular application. So this is, we can consider this as a, I mean, not a plugin. So this is one dependency. So whenever if these kind of things comes, so we are going to add this in the imports array. So for example, I want to communicate with the backend. So I'll be using the HTTP client module. So for that, like I'm going to import all those things in the imports array.
Okay, sir. So, like one more question. Like while doing the ng, sir, what happens? Like, is there any process? Like, can you explain me, sir?
Yeah, yesterday we have discussed, right? So once if you run the ng serve, so in the background it will compiles and it will comes to the main.ts file. Yesterday we have discussed, right?
Okay, so that is the okay, yeah, actual app execution process. Like, so there's someone saying like it will convert all TS into JavaScript and then it will load compilation
Yeah,
process.
I mean, yeah, compilation process. Yeah, I mean, once if you run the ng serve, automatically like the compilation will start. So it will these components and these modules, like we are writing everything in the TS, right? So automatically this, I mean, we have some a webpack bundle. So which webpack, so it will convert all the TS files. So like I mean, let me show you this one. And it will convert all those files into the JavaScript files, and we are going to add all those JavaScript files in the index.html so that browser will understand it.
Okay, sir.
I mean, it will convert all the TS files into the JavaScript file, and those JavaScript files will be loaded into the browser. I mean, if you want, like, I can explain about the Webpack. I mean, how the bundles and I'll take some time and I'll explain to you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Not a problem, sir.
So, I mean, application was compiled. So here we can see like both the text, like root component text was like welcome to Hyderabad, and we have the employee. We have included the employee component also, right? So the text also we can see here. So next, like we'll, I'll add the Bootstrap framework. So for that, I'll just go to npm package manager. I select just says Bootstrap. So now like we have the Bootstrap version 5, latest version was 5. So I'll just install Bootstrap. I'll just copy this one. Next, I will paste here. So npm install Bootstrap. So after installing this one, so we need to add this in the angular.json file. So I mean, if this Bootstrap, if you want to use the Bootstrap classes, so we should we should define the path inside the angular.json file. Like I'll show you that. So we have installed the Bootstrap, and we need the jQuery also, because Bootstrap depends on the jQuery framework. Yeah, I will copy this one. So now I'll go to the node modules and I will the Bootstrap here. See, we have the, Bootstrap got installed to the node modules. Now we need to provide this path like node modules, Bootstrap. Inside the Bootstrap, we have the dist. Inside the dist, we have the CSS files and the JS files, right? We need to provide this path, CSS and Bootstrap dot, like we have a lot of CSS files. We can provide like Bootstrap dot min dot CSS. So let me go to the Angular dot JSON. So I need to add inside the styles. I need to add the Bootstrap CSS inside the scripts. I need to add the both jQuery and the Bootstrap. Now I'll add like we have the defaults. Global CSS global style. I'll give comma and I'll add one more thing like uh, node modules slash Bootstrap slash dist slash CSS dot slash Bootstrap dot min dot CSS. We'll check the path. Node modules, Bootstrap, dist, CSS, and the bootstrap.min.css. So in a similar way, like we'll add the jQuery also. Like first I'll add this Bootstrap, node modules, Bootstrap, dist, JS, bootstrap dot min.js. Now I'll search for the jQuery. See JS. Sorry, inside the JS we have the Bootstrap dist JS. So we have the bootstrap.min.js. This one bootstrap.min.js file. So now I'll search for the jQuery. See, we have the jQuery here. Dist, yeah, jQuery.min.js. Node modules, jQuery, dist, jQuery.min.js. So after adding these files, we need to restart our server. Then only like it will effects like in Bootstrap classes will work. Now I'll go to the Bootstrap website and I'll take one class. Bootstrap. I'll search for the alerts and like I'll just add one class like this one, this code, a simple primary alert. So I'll add this in the our root component, like app.component.html we have, right? I'll add here. So we will see the output once this compilation was done. So it is compiling. Any questions until here? So installing or like adding the Bootstrap. Yeah, still it is running. Guys, yesterday, like anyone has tried, I mean, installing the softwares and the basic application. I mean, anyone, I mean, like everyone is practiced.
Yes, sir. We have practiced.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yeah, I have seen like Ajay has, he has sent the screenshot also.
Yes, sir. Sir, after adding Bootstrap only, we can use Bootstrap, or we can also use CSS. Both we can use, or we can only use Bootstrap for styling.
Styling we can use both. I mean both in the sense like here we are going to use the Bootstrap classes. I mean Bootstrap CSS. So Bootstrap itself is a CSS framework where which is used to make our website is a responsive. I mean, like in
Okay.
the Java, I mean, why we have included both the CSS and JavaScript files was so there are some actions. For example, I want to whenever we click on the button, I want to show some modal, some pop-up kind of thing. So for that, Bootstrap requires the Bootstrap JS file. See here, like we can able to see this sample alert. For example, we have installed the Bootstrap, but I mean, I will remove, like, I will modify this Angular.json. I mean, if you don't add the Angular dot in the Bootstrap modules in the Angular dot modules, so we'll get the error. So I'll show you. I'll comment this one, or I'll just remove. I'll just remove and I will rerun it. I'll stop the server by using Control C. Next, I will rerun the application. So now won't works because like I have removed the path, Bootstrap path. So if you give the Bootstrap path in the Angular.json, then only it will works. Okay, guys, that's all for the today's session. You have any questions regarding the today's topics?
Sir, yes, sir. We have.
Yeah,
Hello.
Karthik, tell me.
Sir, like by default we are installing the npm install and Bootstrap, and then why we are again registering the Angular JSON? If why are we doing it manually, sir?
I mean, if you want to add, I mean, basically, if you want to use that module, no, I mean, if you want to use that Bootstrap classes, it should be present. I mean, if it is present in the node modules, like it will not enough. So we should use it mandatory. Uh, at least we should add that in the if the styles or scripts are. I mean, it should be present in the index.html. So then only the classes will get affected.
Okay,
So
okay,
why we are installing to the node modules means like it should be present in our laptop. I mean in the node modules folder. So from that I can uh, specify the path to my Angular application.
okay, sir. Sir, I have like there is one more method of adding Bootstrap like within the header section and then script section side. What is the difference between this npm install and that part, sir?
Basically like it is I mean we can directly add in the head section by providing the Bootstrap CDN link. But
Yes,
the
sir.
thing was like whenever if you I mean if you don't have the I mean proper internet, no, so it won't works because like it is loading from the external CDN, right? So
Yes,
it is
sir.
best practice to first download the Bootstrap framework to the node modules. Then if you give the path from the node modules in the Angular.json, it will work. Like we can do the both ways, but this is the best way, like by including that in the Angular.json.
Okay, sir. Like I have one more thing, sir. Like yes, we have registered that minimum min.json, css.min.css in angular.json file, sir. Why we are only mentioning that particular things only? There are so many other files, right?
Those are like I mean those JS and like other CSS files are dependents to these two files. I mean dependent in the sense like if you want to use the all the classes in the Bootstrap framework, like we have the different classes and like we have the grid systems and we have the different components, right? So all other files will support this min.js and min.css. So then only this Bootstrap framework will work. We can call this
Okay,
is
sir.
these are like additional support kind of thing. So this
Okay, sir.
why I'm using the min.js means like if I use the min.js, the file size will be very less. It is in the minified version, so the file size will be very less. And if someone wants to modify it, no, so they don't easily understand the minified files when compared to the normal JS files. Once it is minified means like it is very difficult to understand. Like everything will be in the single line or like 2 to 3 lines. So to make our application for application performance is very fast, I'm just using the min.js files.
Okay, sir.
I think application is compiled. See now
Sir,
like
one more thing, like it's out of box. Like, what is the difference between these Bootstrap and Angular material, sir?
Angular material is a it is also like one of the framework where we can use their classes. So it is compared to, I mean, compared to the Bootstrap, you can say it was advanced. So it will be having the good styling, and like we have the lot of options. Like we have the data tables, and we have the some what is called some animations kind of thing. If you go with the Angular material, if the your project team asks you to implement the like project pages or everything in the Angular material, means we need to import the Angular material, and you need to use the Angular material components or Angular material forms or Angular material buttons.
So, like, so the design teams itself consider the Angular material designs and it will give us, sir, or like.
No. Let me stop the sharing and I'll. So design